Nobody wants to hear you, Ty.
Dang.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hi, this is the Everybody Except TYCAST.
The anti-cast.
Yes, there it is. I don't know. Sometimes all my sources get screwed up if I if I even go a week, which is bad when I have a weekly podcast. Sorry about that. Welcome to the TYCAST. It is episode number 56, August 11th, 2022. Good to have you guys. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for letting me know I was muted. I'm gonna fucking have to edit this now for the after whatever everyone's watching after the fact. So this is episode 56. I can't believe we're on episode 56. What a trip. Sally, you and I were just talking about all our names, we're all in the wrong place. Ignore that. Itachi will be right back. About how different it was like just over a year ago when we started this. We started like April 1st ish was our first live episode, which is ironic for April Fool's Day. We're like, so just how different everything is. I'm glad you guys are here. Tonight we are talking about games that either like got us through some difficult moments or you associate with specific moments in your life, games that you played that you just like associate with that time period specifically, and maybe it's like a nostalgia thing, something that just is forever tied to that moment in your life. And so we'll get into that, but first, actually, Russ, your name is right. Your beard's looking solid right now.
Yeah,
how you doing?
keeps saying it's like the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah, I like it. I did that like once, and it was driving me crazy. I felt like I kept having like wanting to trim it, but I don't know. I've been having that urge to let it go again.
Kind of where I'm at.
Also, the shelves are looking absolutely mighty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're awesome.
I like the camera angle. You're looking legit. Oh wait, where's the neon sign?
Over there.
There it is.
Okay.
All right,
It's
fair.
there.
What have you been up to? What have you been playing? What'd you pick up?
So I've only picked up one game in the past couple weeks, and it came out today. Cult of the Lamb.
Oh yeah,
I was super interested in that game. The best way I can describe it is like a mix of The Binding of Isaac and Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah, because there's like farming, right?
Yeah, so you go out like and do adventures kind of like The Binding of Isaac, where you go through little rooms killing enemies. Then you come back to your plot of land and you have your followers like farm for you, gather resources. I'm only about an hour or so into it, but I'm really liking it so far.
Nice.
I didn't know that came out today.
I saw a lot of people streaming it.
Yeah, I've been hearing really good things about it, so it's awesome.
Nice. Itachi, how you been? What have you been up to?
I've been good. I've been on vacation. Before vacation, I picked up Live Alive. I was playing it during vacation. I got to the final chapter, but I have to put it on hold because I got Xenoblade, Xenoblade 3, and it was my most anticipated game of the year. So I'm still really early on into this. I just started it 2 days ago.
Nice. How you liking it so far?
I'm liking it a lot. Music still really early on, but the music is fantastic, and the world just throws you right in there. So
nice.
Really happy with it.
Awesome, dude. How was your trip? I saw you posting all over social media. It looked like a blast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Did a lot of sightseeing, went hiking, and went to a few festivals over there.
That's awesome. Glad you got to do that. That's really cool. I was like seeing photos and stuff like that. It's really cool. Sally, what have you been up to?
I finally beat Celeste.
Good job.
I'm caught up.
Nice.
That was freaking brutal. Holy shit. Yeah. I can't, every time I kept seeing the next stage, I'm like, it can't be as bad as this one. And then I see the next one. I'm like, no.
There's nothing worse than the wind. I feel like that was the most aggravating thing of that game. Was the wind.
Oh yeah, the wind, and then there was rain at one point that kind of impeded you a bit. But anyways, I'm glad that's done.
So is it safe to say you're not gonna try the B-sides?
Oh my god, no, forget it. No. I started to do the core, and then I realized you had to do the B-side for that one.
Yeah.
So I said, forget it. No, I'm just gonna enjoy being at the peak of the mountain and stop there.
That's what I did. I was like, oh wait, there's all this other stuff. I was like, nah, I'll keep. I have plenty of other games to play.
Damn, there was a lot of cursing, and Toast would have been infuriated with me. But I'm glad that's done.
Swearing.
It was fun. I'm glad I got through it, and it's those kinds of challenging games that make it worthwhile when you actually beat it. So
yeah,
I'm glad it's done, and now it's on to Cyberpunk and all the other 50 games I have left.
Yeah, I
actually bought something. I bought Hoa. It's a platformer.
Yeah, that one has like
I pre-ordered Splatoon 3.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
That Hoa game, it looks like a Studio Ghibli animation.
Yeah. It looked really pretty.
Yeah, you have to tell me what you think about that. The Celeste was the video game book club that both me and you nominated separately, I might add. I know there was a lot of accusations of collusion, and there absolutely was none.
To the Moon was also coincidental.
I don't believe that for 1 second. And so, as a reminder, this the current video game book club is Spider-Man 2000 for the PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, PC. Yeah, I've regretted immediately as soon as I changed the rules for this one. But the game it's a good game for when it was. It's not that bad. I'm playing on my Steam Deck, emulating on the Dreamcast, which runs fantastically there. But also in the Discord, I posted instructions on how to install it on PC. It's really easy if you don't care about the cinematics. You just download the files and run an exe. If you want the cinematics, you have to mount it and then crack it. But it's considered abandonware at this point, and so it doesn't get you're not really doing anything because there's no way to really buy it on the primary market. Train. Yeah, it was furious. So that's our current video game book club. And Sally, you've been playing pinball.
Oh yes, my sister got me into that.
Yeah, and then you got me into that.
Yeah, she posted about it. I guess they recently added it to the NES online. Maybe.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a new one.
Maybe because it was up there. It was on top.
Oh yeah. So
yes. Me and my sister used to play that religiously until 3 a.m.
Whoa, Double O Joe.
Double.
Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you, Joe.
Thank
You're
you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Got Keezus. Mia's Van Art. Silvkos. J3 is amazing, and Itachi. Wow. Thank you. Amazing. The NES pinball. We've been going for high scores, and then I know Nettie was like, I'm in on this. Like, I want to try to beat the high score. So right now I have the high score at 163,000.
I don't know how the hell that happened.
You were there. You were there.
Pretty good score.
We were playing together. Well, you had like 152 or something, 151.
Yeah.
It was in the 150s. So I'm at 163. So if anyone wants to challenge, I know. As soon as Nettie was like, I want to beat it. Oh, we should actually. Sally, you were like, we should open it up, see if anyone else can beat it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a fun book club idea too for games that aren't story based. If we have like arcade style games, is we all go for a high score for a month. I think that would be a fun. Sally, you suggested that too. You're the one with all the ideas. I'm just the one that explains them.
I'm the puppet master.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Sally. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm driving there.
Hey.
I'll be there for a week. I'm bringing a bunch of candies on Sally's channel. I'm gonna make her try a bunch of candy that she doesn't have in Canada that we have in the U.S. And so we're gonna see what she thinks about them. I'm surprised.
I'm sure I'm gonna love them.
You're gonna love them. They're all good. They're all like
You
really.
better at least like the ones that I like, or my feelings will be hurt.
My standard. I like any chocolate, so.
And they're all chocolate. Actually, I got you some chips and stuff too today. So we'll try some
That'll
other
be
things.
fun.
Yeah, I don't know what day we're doing that. We haven't decided, but it'll be sometime midweek, I'm guessing, on Sally's channel. So stay tuned for that. Brittany, Skriller Wolf, how you been? What you been up to?
My work went from like dead to really, really busy. So, but I think it's helped me because like, I don't know, like being just like sitting at work and kind of doing not a lot is kind of mind numbing. So now it's all busy and it's good. And yeah, I didn't pick up or play anything this week.
Oh, really? Nothing?
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't had time. I've been so busy.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all good. I'm hoping to squeeze in some game time tomorrow. I'm trying to finish up all my chores and everything tonight. So I'm like, okay, no laundry, no dishes, no anything. I'm not moving. I'm staying in this chair right here, the beanbag chair on the floor, and playing games.
Nice. Enjoy. Have fun with that. Chris at Toaster Dog, what have you been up to?
Hi. I've been breathing. I, with my daughter, finished Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and then I started Arceus. I have a couple pickups. One is right up here on top of my Tron machine. It's a giant Charizard plush.
Nice.
I actually got it at Cedar Point. And then I also got this, which is a Yamper.
Oh, that's cute.
Cool.
Yamper.
Dogs are amazing. It's just, kind of goes without saying at this point, but that's about all. Pokemon Go.
Nice.
That's it.
No pickups?
Nope, no game pickups.
Yeah. Same here. I didn't pick anything up, I don't think. Like Sally said, I've been playing a lot of pinball. I put several hours into Ori and the Blind Forest because I am not a fan of Metroidvanias, and Sally kept saying, try Ori, try Ori, try Ori. And I was like, oh, I have Ori, but I just haven't had no interest in trying it. I'm now over 5 hours in, and I have to say I'm kind of liking it a lot.
Yes.
Let's go. I love it. I had such and breathtaking, like there's such a breathtaking moment early on into the game. I don't know if you got it. Did you get past the Ginzo tree already?
Is that the water that goes up?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's funny because I was just playing like offline, and Sal and I were talking, and she's like, oh, let me see where you're at. And I was like, okay. And I turned on, and it was right at the start of for the climbing sequence with the water coming up. And I was like, whoa. Like, so it's just like the one, like such a dramatic part of the game. And so that I think that added to it too. And but yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I like that it gives you at least a little bit of a direction of where you should be going. That was my biggest gripe with like Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight kind of did it a little bit, but Super Metroid, where it's like, oh, you're supposed to go like 3 areas over, but you have no idea that you could just wander around forever until you just luckily find that there's no like guiding thing. And so that was my biggest gripe with Metroidvania. So I'm over that now with Ori, and so I kind of got the vibe of the game, like, oh, it's going to tell you when you're going the right direction, or it'll put it on the map. So that helps. But I'm enjoying the game a lot. Besides pinball, I don't think, is there anything else? We tried to play Halo. Still on Halo 1 campaign, but We did one level, but we still have a few more. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the topic. I didn't pick anything up. I'm not spending money. I'm spending money on gasoline now. That's my priority. Okay, so games, like, there's, everyone has moments in their life where a game has, just coincided with either a significant event or a period of time. Like, you're going through something, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's, just significant transition. And sometimes it's like a coping mechanism. Sometimes it's just something that you tie to those moments. And so, Sally, you brought up this idea along with a couple others, and I was like, oh, this is a good one. With everything that's been going on with like the pandemic and stuff like that, like, I think, and a lot of people getting back into gaming recently and stuff like that. So I wanted to talk about moments that games either were associated with certain events in your life, or things. You don't have to get too personal, obviously. If it's relevant to the story and you want to share, that's fine, but don't feel like you have to if it's something overly personal. I was going to start with like the pandemic. I know that a lot of people, like, Animal Crossing came along, March of 2020, right when everyone was like, okay, we're all inside. And like, I put like 500 hours into Animal Crossing in like 3 months or something, and then never touched it again. I was like, okay, that served its purpose. I did what I felt like I needed to do in Animal Crossing, and then that was it. But I know a lot of people, it's still going, and but my relationship with Animal Crossing will always be the beginning of the pandemic. Like, that, I will always tie it to that, because that's when I played it, and then I just stopped. Like, and so I'll open it up here and there, but yeah, I'm just gonna open it up. Feel free to talk. You can talk about that. You can talk about anything. Go ahead. Anyone? No rhyme or reason. Anyone have anything that?
I'm gonna go along with the first, with the Animal Crossing. I put 435 hours into Animal Crossing and never touched it again.
I wonder how many people did that. I wonder how many people just fell off Animal Crossing after the first like 4 months. I remember being so excited for the Easter event, and I was like, this Easter event fucking sucks.
Oh, no,
and I was like, I'm
that.
never doing another event again. I literally never did another event again because of how annoying that Easter event was.
I think Animal Crossing in general is just known for helping a lot of people through anxiety and that kind of stuff. So even before the pandemic, it was just a game where you could just relax and there's no stressful situation. You just go along and farm and talk to your animal friends. Such a delightful game.
It is. It's a very therapeutic game.
Yeah.
Very, very much.
Who else? We don't have to talk about pandemic. You can talk about anything, any games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just opening up. That was my first story, like, but whatever you want to talk about.
So the first game I have, it came out before I was in middle school, but I played it the most while I was in middle school, and it's my favorite 3D platformer. It's a coincidence that I saw it in chat. It's Galaxy 2. I love this game to death. I love the music. I love it a lot. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it just helped me a lot in middle school, because in middle school, I think for a lot of people it's really rough, and for me it was really rough. I was a little chubby kid that got picked on all the time, and I didn't have any friends that liked Nintendo, that liked the Wii. Everyone had a PS3, everyone had a 360, but I was like the one that had a Wii, which is weird because the Wii sold the most, I believe.
Yeah,
I think it sold the most.
Yeah.
And no one I knew had it, and I would play all the time. I absolutely adored it, and it's one of the games that really influenced in a lot of the stuff that I like in games.
Yeah, I need to go back to Galaxy and Galaxy 2 because I only played a few hours of Galaxy 1 and I never played Galaxy 2. And so there's a lot of games like that I missed out on. I had a Wii, but I played all the like stupid games. I mean Wii Sports and then just like random games on the Wii. Like I didn't do the staples really. And so I missed a lot of Wii staples. I still have my original Wii and it's modded. And so I have like GameCube ROMs and GameCube controllers, Wavebirds and stuff to play. And so I need to get back into that.
Galaxy is definitely one of my favorite ones. And I also, you mentioned it, and I remember the first time I played Galaxy, and I was at a time where I had gone through my first breakup, and I was also starting to get back into games, and I got a Wii, so I was not into 3D Mario, and I popped this in, and I was just glued to it, and I just played it every day I came home from work. I was just on Mario Galaxy. So whenever I think about that, I remember that time where I was just constantly glued and playing this game, and it just brought so much happiness for me at that time.
That reminds me, like, I remember growing up, and there'd be like every couple months or so, you get a new game, and you'd like be able to play it. Like I'd usually like get a game sometime in the afternoon, and I'd play it for a couple hours at night, and then I was like, I'd have to go to sleep, and then go to school, and then all day at school I'd just be like, I can't wait to get home to go back and play the game. Like that feeling is something that like it's so hard to recreate as an adult.
It is.
It is.
That's so true.
I rarely get it. I had it Tuesday because I hadn't played Xenoblade yet, and I got it the night before, and I was like, I want to get off work. I want to play it, and it just felt so good. And even right now, I have chills thinking about that feeling because it's so hard. Like you're saying, it's so hard to recreate, and when it happens, it just feels so good.
It's also something that it rarely happens outside of video games too, and it's such a like visceral experience, and it's so limited to like I remember it only really happening with video games, and then like maybe a few other things I would get excited about, like if there was like, but it like video games specifically, I just remember like I remember having like Twisted Metal 2 on the PlayStation. I was like, I don't know, I was in middle school I think, and I had it, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to get home to go back and like and go play, and just that intense like excitement and like anticipation and stuff. Oh man, I miss that feeling. There's so many games in the 90s, when I was going through like middle school into high school, elementary, middle school, high school. That was that thick where I went from NES to I had a Genesis and then a PlayStation and a Dreamcast. That was like my transition throughout the 90s, and just being so excited. And that's a whole nother topic. I said it. I said whole nother. It's a whole another. That sounds.
Whole other.
I don't know. Anyway, I'll get over that. Anyone else have any specific games that you tie to a specific time period? Russ?
I have one.
Yeah, I saw you.
So when I was a kid, I had a GameCube, but I didn't have a lot of games for it. And a friend of mine brought over Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And that was my first ever like real introduction to Sonic. I've never played it before. I knew nothing about it. And she happened to leave it at my house. And that game became my life when I was in middle school. I played it. So I had an original memory card, and I want to say I had like 1,500 hours into that game on that memory card. And then when I got my dog, she ate it. So I had to start all the way over.
Brutal.
I actually beat it 100% twice.
Nice.
Wow.
But is that the one with Chow Gardens?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the reason I had so much time in it.
Yeah.
There were Chow Gardens in the original Sonic Adventure, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just know I had a friend who had a GameCube, and he would always be playing Sonic when I'd come over, and I didn't understand, because from what I understood, like, Sonic was always short. It's like you run around and you beat it, and he's like, no, have you seen this? And he showed me it's like the Chow Gardens, and I'm like, oh, there's Nintendogs in here.
Okay, one of the coolest things about the original Sonic Adventure, and I didn't play 2 very much, but I was hooked on 1, and the VMU, and you could check out your chows and put them on your VMU, and then you'd take the VMU and you could play little games, and it would skill them up. When, like, I would bring my VMUs to school, and you'd play little mini games on the VMU. Saying again, the Dreamcast was so fucking ahead of its time.
It was 100%.
Neander, talking about Link Between Worlds. Sally, I know you're a big fan of Link Between Worlds.
Love that game.
I need to play that game. I was really intrigued by it when I saw it on the 3DS, and I have not played it. But talking about been in an airport waiting on airplane. Link Between Worlds always had my back. It's gotten me through many flight delays. Mm-hmm. It's a good like if you have a go-to game where if you like are stuck somewhere or something, especially a game that's offline. Right now, all my go-to games are all online, and so I realized that when I got my Steam Deck, I was like, I can't play all my favorite games that I like. My comfort games right now are all online. The other,
I have one.
Yeah, go.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna say the one that I really wanted to talk about was kind of a mix between Itachi and you, Ty. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I had just moved, so I had no friends. I was a fat, chubby kid too, just like I still am. But I remember going to Funko Land with this kid from church that I didn't really know at the time. And Funko Land had a display Super Nintendo, like a kiosk thing, and it had Chrono Trigger on the last boss, or second to last boss, sorry. And we played it for like a half hour. We were in high school, we didn't have anything else to do, and I'm like, I need to buy this game. And I remember after I bought it, I convinced my mom to let me have a TV in my room, and I hooked up my Super Nintendo. It wasn't even on the stand, it was just on the floor. And I would, like, in study hall, I would just be thinking about that game, like, I want to go home and play right now. So I would hurry up and get my homework done, and then I would play like every single night for like a month probably. It's good times.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger is great. I would love for that game to get an HD 2D remake.
Oh yeah.
That would sell like hotcakes.
Okay,
if they did it right.
So I feel like what they did with like Live Alive, and I feel like they need to do with all the like 2D JRPGs, because that will get me to play that. I'm like, I've downloaded the demo of Live Alive. I'm like, if this is captures me at all, I'm gonna buy that game, because it's not like Max was saying last week, it's not super long, and I'm like, okay, I can do this, but I'd be down. I remember like I used to sit, like, I was in high school, and I bought my brand new Game Boy Advance SP, and I was really into Pokemon right before that. And I was like, I want to get back into RPGs, and I bought Golden Sun, and I was hooked on Golden Sun. That was I'd say that was the last RPG that I really put solid time into. Until I guess Cyberpunk is that considered an RPG? We talk about that? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So until Cyberpunk, like I mean, oh no, I'm lying. No, Phantasy Star Online, but that's kind of, I don't know. It was that time was the last time, like around the late 90s, early 2000s, that I really put any time into an RPG until recently. So I'm all for it. I love those visuals.
There's another game that released recently too, right? That's in that style besides Live Alive.
Triangle Strategy.
Yeah. And then Octopath was.
Yep.
Dragon Quest 3 coming soon.
Yeah. Is that in the same style?
Maybe. Yeah, it's in the same style. Same team. That team is doing work. They're busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got a tweet reply that was pretty interesting. I want to Chris Clark, Camden Town Games, replied, and and said it's more the music of the game that triggers the memories, like Tetris on the Game Boy or James Bond 2 music. That hits me hard too, and that's I was like, oh, that's a good point I wanted to bring up, because so many times you'll hear that music. I mean, Zelda's like a classic. You hear like the 8-bit Zelda theme. Even even as a non-Zelda player growing up, I still get nostalgic about hearing the Zelda theme played in like on original
Anytime
hardware.
I hear a chiptune NES thing, I'm like, I get nostalgic for it.
See, I think definitely I get hit hard with Genesis. Genesis has a very specific sounding music, like sound processor, and so I know it's generally inferior to the SNES, but I feel like it had some characteristics, and whenever I hear a Genesis music, Sonic or all the classic Genesis games, it always takes me back to the, like when I was 10, 11, and just obsessed with those games.
X-Men on Genesis.
X-Men, yeah.
Amazing music. How come Max didn't nominate that game? Come on.
That's a game that everyone should play. That was a game that was, I mean, it's very, very, very hard. I don't know that I ever beat the 3rd level, but it's
easy
a cool
mode
game.
with Nightcrawler. What the heck?
Oh, where you go, like teleport through the wall. You can only do that on level 2 though, right?
There's some other places you can use it too.
I don't know. I remember finding out that you could skip to the end of level 2 with Nightcrawler. But yeah. I'm saying, oh, we're good on time.
Yeah, we're good.
Itachi, wait, hold on. Who hasn't gone in a bit?
Skriller.
Grill?
I think Itachi, you're pointing at Ty.
Yeah. I figured it was reversed. I was like, I've been talking this whole time. Girl,
I have a long list.
Yeah, go.
I'm gonna
run out of time. You're gonna have your long list still.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do ones that I haven't mentioned before, because I already talked about Kingdom Hearts 2 and The Last of Us like a ton.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna bring up Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry, I remember for specific Devil May Cry 3 is the first one that I was ever exposed to, and the reason why it was so memorable for me was it was my first ever. My mom is very Christian and conservative, so she didn't expose me to a lot of M-rated or R-rated things, or even PG-13 at the time. But my dad, on the other hand, was like, I don't give a fuck. so I remember watching him play Devil May Cry 3, and he like told me, he's like, okay, listen, like, you can't tell your mom that I'm letting you watch me play this. And I was like, okay. And like, I just remember seeing there was blood and there was pizza and there's this like shirtless dude flipping around and fighting this other guy in the rain in the opening cutscene. And I'm like small me was like, whoa, this is badass. Like, this is it right here. This is the coolest thing that you can play. So from that point, I'd always wanted to play Devil May Cry, but I never could, just because, again, my mom wouldn't let me play those kind of games. So the only time I ever got exposed to it was over at my dad's house. But that was my first time ever seeing anything R-rated or like anything above like a PG movie. So it was very like big experience. One of the other ones, which I've talked about it a little bit before, but Nintendogs is... I don't know if there's an hour counter on Nintendogs, but Nintendogs, the original, I played even far into the 3DS lifespan, just because I already sunk so many hours into it. And I think if I could boil it down as to why I like the game so much, other than dogs and I wasn't allowed to have indoor dogs as a kid, is I think it was something that was very consistent. The gameplay is always very much samey. It's kind of what Sally said with Animal Crossing, how it's something that rids anxiety. I would put Nintendogs in that category. My parents divorced when I was young, and I flew back and forth a lot from California to Texas, and there was a lot of fighting between them, and then fighting between my mom and my stepdad, and then fighting between me and my siblings. And like, at the end of the day, I could go open up my DS and my little virtual dogs would sit there and bark at me and be happy, and I'm like, you know what, these little guys are cool.
Aw, that's
So.
yeah.
That's
I remember there was a game. So I know there was Nintendogs. There was a game called Dogs with a Z and
I
Cats
played
with a
it.
Z.
Okay, you know what? That is a traumatic ass game. You wanna know why? Because at the end of the game, you have to get rid of your dog.
What? Oh, okay. I never played that much.
I played it on the GBA. You just unlocked a core memory.
I actually remember that. I was like, I remember being obsessed with like there was like a PC version. I was like, oh, it's so cool. You just like pet them and stuff.
I was so upset because I had Nintendogs, and then my dad was like, "Oh, she likes dog-themed games. I'm gonna buy her dog-themed games." So that's how I got Dog's Life on PS2 and the Dog Island and all the other random dog games that I bring up every podcast to meme. But Dogs sucks because the GBA version that I got, you literally like play through a story mode, and then at the end, it's like, now you have to give your dog away because you were fostering it the whole time. And I was like, fostering?
That's my
dog.
That's my dog. and so I didn't save my progress, and I would just keep playing the last day. And I remember telling my dad, I was like, Dad, they make you get rid of your dog, and he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you have to get rid of it.
It's like Groundhog Day intentionally.
I was like, I'm not saving my progress.
That's amazing.
It sucks. What kind of dog game? What kind of dog sim? They're like, yeah, now get rid of it.
So anyone else jump in? I'm gonna throw a couple out. So when I was in college, I'd moved back home. I moved out of state to go to college. I moved back home and I started working at Guitar Center. I was like, I'm gonna do one more shot about trying to start a band and be famous and go like tour and be a rock star. And it worked. I was able to quit my job and go live a life on the road for 5 years. And but I had just bought an Xbox 360 and I was like getting into gaming again a little bit, and that just went straight out the window. But when we were on the road, we went through several different iterations, but I was able to kind of fully embrace multiplayer games again. I always liked multiplayer games growing up. I liked specifically cooperative games. I like playing through stories like as a experience with someone. That's one of my core like joys in gaming. And it was cool having, like 6 people, 7 people, 8 people in the same area always to play together. And we would find creative ways to play games together. And so we would play a bunch of, it ended up being a lot of sports games. We would do like tournament style where we would like pass a controller stuff. And that was a lot of fun playing. We would find creative ways. Also, we didn't have a lot of money. And so we'd find creative ways to play games. And so like, Sally, I was telling you about how, beautiful Katamari on the Xbox 360, because I brought that 360. I ended up bringing him out on tour and just like installing into our, like, we had a big RV, and I was like, all right, it's living on the RV now. And but we didn't have the game, but we had the free demo, and the demo allowed you to do a 2-minute run, and it would basically do a high score 2-minute run that didn't exist in the main game. But we got obsessed with trying to get the highest score in 2 minutes, and we'd find all these secrets, and you could like drop down like on, like you could kind of hack the game a little bit to try to get higher and higher scores. And then so we got obsessed with just controller passing, trying to get a 2-minute high score. And then finally we got the game. We're like, this game's so fucking cool. And so we got the game, and that mode wasn't there. And we're like, we're just gonna go. We just kept playing the demo. We're like, all right, we're just gonna play the demo. Like, if Katamari had like a competition mode, multiplayer competition mode, it'd all be done for me.
I still don't understand that game, but
you you've played like 90 seconds of it.
Hey, I know.
you will. Sally, I know that you will love that game.
Okay, I know
I'll try that you will. Trust me.
Okay. I'll say my because this game gets shit on so much. Cyberpunk is my game that got me through a really tough time when I was giving birth to my daughter, she was premature. So my water broke, and little did I know that doctors want to keep you there as long as possible to delay birth as long as possible. So I was already in the hospital for about a week. And then my daughter came, and because she was premature, we were stuck in the hospital for another 2 weeks because there was times where she would have apnea and she would stop breathing for 10 to 20 seconds. And every time that episode would happen, they would delay us from leaving the hospital. We had to stay there an extra 7 days. So it was just such a horrible, horrible experience, especially hearing that, hearing your little baby stop breathing is like traumatic, even though they're like, it's very normal, it's fine. It's just hearing that is so terrifying. So during my stay there, I brought my Switch. And at the time I was playing Phoenix Immortals Rising, and I had Animal Crossing, and I was trying to play, but obviously my head was not into it. I just going through, just giving birth and dealing with having to be in the hospital for an extended stay was so depressing. And obviously your hormones are out of control after you deliver. So I was just not there. I was so down, and I couldn't even get into Animal Crossing, honestly. And finally, this was also during the height of the second wave of the pandemic, so they were kind of iffy on the rules about whether we're allowed to go home. So finally, when I had broke down and they told me that, we have to reset the counter, your daughter has to stay here for another 7 days, they finally let me go home. And I finally got to shower for the first time in like 2 weeks. And the first thing I did after I showered was I decided to hop into Cyberpunk. And I said, I'm just going to hop in here and drive around and explore, do something casual, do these side quests that are not stressful. And it was just something that stuck out in my head. I was just able to come home during a really shitty time where I was just so down and didn't have my daughter. I was just feeling so depressed and down, and I had my breast pump beside me, pumping milk while playing Cyberpunk.
I was about to say, because my mom would watch Criminal Minds while she like breast pumped. So I was about to say that's probably like the perfect thing to just like sit there.
Yeah,
it's such a disconnected reality, like. But also, you probably connected to it because of like the dystopian future. Like you probably like had some.
It was another world that I got to escape this shitty realm that I was in, and I entered it, and everything was, Cyberpunk is such a beautiful game. You're just immersed into it. So it would be, I don't know, midnight, and I would just be playing, pumping my milk, getting lost in the game, and that was just something that kind of stuck with me. Was during this time, at least I had Cyberpunk I could come home to. I played that for a bit, and it just took me out of that, being in my head and being so down and depressed. So, and at the time it had just come out, like, I forgot the release date, but it was December it came out, and a few days after it came out, my water broke. So this was around the time where it was getting blasted, and it was removed from PlayStation when I was in the hospital, and it was getting shit on, and it was getting a lot of flack. But I'm like, no, it got me through such difficult times at that specific moment.
And the other thing is you're playing on PC.
Yeah.
And so that version generally was like, okay, the PC version was like the best version of it.
I did have some glitches, but it wasn't as bad. Definitely not as bad as other people were.
The biggest thing was like base PS4, base Xbox ones.
I have a buddy who played it. I think base PS4 and PS4 Pro. I want to say he picked up a Pro sometime in between, but he told me, he was like, "Yeah, the flack is unwarranted." He's like, "It's definitely like problematic, but I think after like month 1 they updated it, and it was even playable on like base PS4. He said there was like some lag to it, but he's like people blew it way too much out of proportion. And then when he got the Pro, he said he hardly had any issues at all.
Yeah, I ended up waiting until the next gen update. I bought it for like, I don't know, $15 at GameStop, like complete. Like it was a pre-owned, but it was like fully complete. And I just waited until they said it was going to come out early 2022, right?
Yeah.
I just like spaced on time. And it came out, and playing on PS5 Cyberpunk is pretty amazing, I have to say. They really did a good job with the next gen update with all the adaptive triggers. Every gun, like, 'cause there's so many different guns in that game, every gun feels different with the resistance of the triggers and how they fire, and like, 'cause it has that like that pop on the adaptive triggers that like I don't know, that caught me way off guard. And same with the gas pedals. Like the gas pedal like pushes against you at like as you go faster and faster, it starts fighting you a little bit more, and you have to push harder to go to like fully push the pedal down. Stuff like that is a pretty cool experience that I did not expect from that game. But yeah, Sally, I'll continue where you left off. On a different note, my mom passed 12 years ago, almost just a few days ago, 12 years ago. And I ended up getting into, right after that happened, I got back into my Wii. I got into like very, very casual games. I played so much Little Big Planet and stuff like that. Just like these like, almost like cartoony type of games where it was those type of games that like, it was specifically Little Big Planet I just played a ton of. And that's when I ended up beating Uncharted 3. And I bought a PS3 at that point, and I was like, I'm gonna play some PS3 games because I never had a PS3 before, and I got into stuff like that. But yeah, the Wii. I don't remember what I was playing on Wii. It was Super Mario, the new Super Mario Brothers, stuff like that. Yeah, like okay. I was into like, I went back to my roots of platformers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah. All right.
Cool.
Anyone who wants to go now?
I have one more that I specifically wanted to talk about. But I wanted to backtrack a little bit onto the music one.
Oh yeah.
When we're talking about music, because when you said that, like, it brings that emotion, I'm a huge music junkie, especially with video game music. And I remember playing Age of Calamity, and the first time you play as Mifa in it, and it kicks in like an orchestral version, a battle version of her theme from Breath of the Wild. I felt like I reached an epiphany when I heard it. I just like sat there and just listened to it, and it was just such an emotional moment for me. And I think music is just incredible in video games especially. And going along with that, the other game that I really wanted to talk about came out during my senior year. I didn't get to play it until after I graduated. It's my favorite game of all time is Persona 5. So I love this game to death. I love Royal to death, and I played it at a time where I graduated. I was getting ready to start college, or I was in my first like semester of college, and I was kind of having like an identity crisis. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I had a little bit more time because I was out of high school, and college is it still takes up a lot of time, but it's easier to schedule because most people aren't going every day. And I still love video games, but I wanted something else. And I played Persona 5, and it lit a fire in me that for some reason I wanted to cosplay as Joker. And Joker was my first cosplay, and it just set off into motion that I wanted to be a cosplayer. And everything about this game I just love. I love the voice acting in it. I did play it in English. I thought the voice actors did a fantastic job with their characters. The music is always great in Persona, and I love Lynn. She did an amazing job with the music, and yeah, it's just an amazing game. And I have most of it signed. I'm only missing on Joker and Yusuke.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yusuke
Yeah.
is best boy.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
I have one story I'm saving for the end, but we still have some time.
In a similar vein to Itachi, I started Persona and got very busy with college, but one game that I played through probably like one of the roughest points of my life, which is like the year that I started college. It's the year after Overwatch came out, so I was already like pretty into it, but I didn't have a whole ton of time between wrestling and getting ready for school and taking final exams, everything. I didn't have time to invest that much into like story games, so I kind of dropped Horizon. I dropped Persona 5 at the time, but I always had time for quick matches in Overwatch. And when I got up to the college I went to, I actually went there because there was a guy I really liked, and we were dating at the time, and we broke up 2 weeks before I was supposed to go up there. And so I was going in knowing nobody from my school or anything was going to the school, and it was a completely different state, away from family, away from friends. And so when I got there, it was interesting. All my roommates were definitely not into gaming at all. And I was pulling out all my decorations, and my dad had gotten me a Last of Us bed set. Don't know how he found one, but so I'm putting all this stuff up. And people are giving me weird looks. And a couple weeks in, I start walking around. I have an Overwatch backpack, and people just start talking to me, and they're like, "Oh, you play Overwatch?" And I made most of my college friends just because they would chat me up about my backpack. And then this random guy runs into our apartment and throws candy everywhere. And he comes back in, and he's like, "Whose backpack is that?" And I was like, "That's mine." And he's like, "That's a great game." And we ended up becoming really good friends, and he'd come over to our apartment all the time, and we would mix. We grew up in a we went to college in a dry town, so the coolest thing you can do is caffeine. And so we would mix Mountain Dew and energy drinks together and stay up super late playing Overwatch, farming for all the Halloween skins. And It was just a blast. And all of us had like shit computers, and it would run poorly on all of our like school laptops. We'd all play and stay up late and play. And that friend is still like one of my best friends to this day, and a really good friend to me and Jeremy. And he lives in Australia, and he's from there. And he's gone back there since, but we still keep in contact. And I think we'll still probably try out Overwatch too. But Overwatch was like, it was like my community when I didn't really have one, I guess, is the best way to put it. There was, in terms of like, there's people who played it just casually like me, who just really enjoyed the art style and really enjoyed the shorts. And it was just so easy to talk about because of it being popular. And so, I could talk to people who were traditionally into like CSGO or COD, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I love Overwatch for like these gameplay mechanics." And I could talk to like casual gamers, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I love Overwatch because I love the characters and the story and the animated shorts." And it's just it really fostered a really like good community. There's negatives about it too, but the like wholesome Overwatch fans are like some of the most cool people out there.
That's awesome. My story I'm gonna tell kind of ties into that. I like the community aspect of gaming a lot. It's probably my biggest draw to gaming. Russ, your turn. I'm calling you out.
So I only have one more.
Okay.
When I was a little bit younger than I am now, maybe I want to say 7 years ago. I kind of had depression really bad. My parents had just split up. I didn't really have too many friends. My friend had moved to went to college, so I had like nobody local to play games with or anything. So I kind of just like poured my time into Borderlands 2, and I still like that game to this day. But every time I've noticed, like if I get kind of sad or I just like don't want to play games, I always go back to that game. It's always been like one of those games that's just there for me to play when I don't feel like playing games. And I think that kind of ties into when I was kind of depressed and from my parents' divorce and everything. It just became like one of those staple games for me.
Yeah, I think we've kind of like touched on it here and there, but I think that everyone has that like that comfort game that you go back to, and then something's really off if your comfort game doesn't doesn't satisfy. Like okay, then that's like okay, now something really it's bigger than that. But like it's I think it says a lot with how ingrained gaming is into like our psyche and our psychology and our mental health and stuff. Like it can be a barometer of sorts of like okay, how serious is something that you're going through. Like if the things that you love the most are either like if they will satisfy that like will comfort you, or if it's even bigger than that, they're like okay, I feel like it's such a good tool to have even as like a psychological device. And yeah, I think I love that everyone has those like comfort games, and they're all different. Especially with our group of people like on this podcast, I feel like we have such a wide range of everyone's comfort game. I feel like is so wildly different from each other. Like, and I think that's a lot of times why we're like, okay, we're all gonna play a game together, and everyone's like, oh, I got this one, I got this one, I got this one, I got this one. Like we're like, it's so hard to like like align because we have such a wide range of gaming interests that we like that our go-tos are. And I think it's amazing. I like all of our different perspectives on it. Chris, you haven't said anything in a bit.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
Oh, okay, you don't have to. We can close up. Sally, do you have any other?
Just to say, if anyone's struggling with anything mentally, games are a great escape, but reach out to people you love and people who love you. It's always a good thing to do.
Yeah, communicate, be open. I love the community that we've built. I'll touch on it in a second. Zim, yeah, it's a great point. Talk to your friends, and if you like your friends the best, your friends more than probably sometimes they know themselves. Ask questions. Like don't be like afraid to ask like, hey, is everything okay? Like that's something that probably goes like further than anyone else, like anything else. Sometimes that's all it takes. It's just someone asking if everything's okay. And so when you're in a good spot, be aware of everyone else, all the people close to you. Does anyone else want to have anything else before I close this out? Any last games that you didn't mention? Girl, I know you
Rocket League, even though I hate it.
Rocket League is Rocket League's the comfort game, but I won't play it offline.
I haven't played it in like 3 weeks. I'm really trying hard not to.
You can play with bots, right? I don't know. I never do it. I'm like,
it's even like the super hard bots are like they don't even fly, so it's like okay. I'd be better off playing myself with another controller at the same time, I think.
I never like I could get into the training and stuff because I never really went through that, but that was about it. And I was like, but it didn't satisfy that itch for me. It was the online.
It's a weird. That's another, like, you talked about the community a little bit, but that's another weird aspect, at least for me. Like, I've been addicted to Rocket League for like 4 years ish now, and a lot of the friends that I got, like, they don't want to play it every day, but I feel like I still want to. And so I'll go online and play, and it's just not the same when you're not playing with your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a totally different experience.
I'll play 1 or 2 rounds by myself, but if I'm with someone, I can play for hours.
Yeah.
If I'm with, and that, I mean, that's with a lot of games, and that's why I struggle a lot of times with single player games. I'm like, okay, I experienced a little bit of this, but I like experiencing gaming with the people that I love, and that's why that's my number one struggle with single player games. And so I'm working on it. I'm working on it to get
that's
into
probably it. Like, me and you are like totally opposites when it comes to games. Like, I think Itachi may be a little more like me, but when I was a kid, like, I moved all the time. Like, not a military family, we just moved all the time, so I never had like any solid friendships or anything. So, like, single player games that I didn't have to play with anybody else except maybe my brother, those are my jam, and they're still my jam.
Yep. I didn't get into multiplayer games for a while, and even now I can get into them. Overwatch is the one I play the most, and it's mostly because I have people to play it with, and it's very hard for me. Like, I don't like Apex. I can play Fortnite because I have friends. I can play Fall Guys because friends. Don't like Call of Duty anymore. It's been the last time I liked a Call of Duty was Black Ops 3, and I had people to play it with.
Yeah.
And it's been I haven't liked really a lot of multiplayer games lately.
Yeah.
It could be like a timing thing too. Like, a lot of multiplayer games when I was growing up was just, and maybe Ty and Beach also, they were single player games with multiplayer components, basically. There was like no, I mean, it's like, think Pokemon was one of like the biggest multiplayer games, but it, like, all you could do was trade in battle, right? Basically.
Yep. Yeah, I remember going to school and like someone who has the link cable, like to like
or
and
a co-op game, or like
that was
Mario and Luigi switching controllers, or taking turns.
I mean, it was mostly co-op for me growing up. It was like I mean, like I said, Twisted Metal 2, you could play through the entire campaign cooperatively, split screen, stuff like that. Like, that's what I enjoyed. I was like, actually love. And then, I mean, I'll touch on it briefly, but this is a part of a bigger story. But Halo 1, playing through a huge single player the biggest first person shooter ever made to that time, and you could play it together split screen on a single TV and play through the entire game together. That experience was something that was completely I remember just blowing my mind, and played it over and over and over and but sorry, continue. I'll come back to that.
Who are you talking to, me?
Whoever we were talking about like the difference of like multiplayer games now versus what multiplayer games were 25 years ago.
Triggered another memory for me. I think I've told this story already, but my dad worked at Toys R Us night shift, and I got to spend the night at a Toys R Us as like an 8 or 9-year-old kid, and it was absolutely as amazing as it would have been. But one thing I remember about it was right when the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis had just come out. Actually, I'm not even sure Super Nintendo was out yet, but they had a Genesis kiosk, and like, it wasn't even playable. It was just like I mean, it had a TV and it was there, but the controller was like mounted behind like this acrylic or plexiglass or something, and it was like screwed down, so you couldn't even play it. But we convinced my dad to like unscrew it so we could play it.
What?
Awesome. It was awesome.
That's amazing. So, anyone else before I'm going into my final story and I'm ending the episode.
I think we could talk about this all day, but yeah, just go. You can go ahead and close it out.
No. Last words.
I have an easier time getting into co-op than online multiplayer, and I was gonna recommend you and Sally to play Escape Academy. It's a co-op game. I think it came out recently. I haven't gotten a chance to play it, but I've had friends that have played it, and it looks like a joy. Think of escape rooms, but in video game form.
Hold on, I'm adding it to our list.
It's a co-op game that 2 players can play with each other.
Wait, where's our list, Sally?
See, I'm the opposite. I prefer single player games.
Yeah, well,
I like playing by myself. So that's where we.
I've convinced Sally to play single player games alongside with me while we play together.
No, I made you do that to force you to play single player games.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
that's a good motivator.
Yeah, but now I'm like, all right, let's play some Cyberpunk, and we'll pick the same mission and then kind of like play them together. Because I streamlined it because you were saying like it was like 2 years, a year and a half ago that you were playing through, but you were doing all the side missions and you were kind of going through like exploring and everything. And so when I started playing like 2 months ago, I streamlined it and caught up to the story portion, and then I was doing side missions to kind of, you're still like way overpowered, like way more powerful than I am, but we're at least like going through the same missions now, which is, it's a fun experience to do that with someone, like especially since we're apart.
Get you into single player games.
Yeah.
Eventually. And Metroidvania.
those are your two goals.
That's battles.
Oh, Abe. Okay, hold on. I have to stop. Abe, are you still here? I just saw your chat. I went to college with Abe, and he was the first person that said, "Hey, it's Tynology," as a joke, because I was fixing the Switch as a Metroidvania machine. So Abe,
you owe him royalties.
I know. We've discussed it. What's up, Abe? We were in a band together in college after April. Abe and I, I tried to get Sally to play Super Monkey Ball, and it was a failure. Abe and Mike and all of our crew, we used to play Super Monkey Ball, Mario Party 4, 5, 6, Mario Kart Double Dash. Hey, it was good to see you, man. Oh man, I could go off on a whole tangent. What an episode for you to come in. I didn't even go into the whole college GameCube years of those games.
Be a good topic.
Yeah, man. Freaking the GameCube boys. The I'm gonna say this. I hope you remember this reference. Like, why am I holding so much stuff? I'm not gonna say the other thing. Anyway, Abe, it's good to see you, man. Okay, so my last story, Itachi, remind me, I didn't write the name. Escape Academy. All right, Sally, we're playing it because that sounds fun.
Another co-op game. Yay!
That sounded sarcastic. Yay! Although It Takes Two, that was an amazing
really
experience.
Love It Takes Two.
That was so much.
Yeah.
Shout out to one of my favorite games. I've played it 3 times with different people, and it's such a great game.
Oh, Sally, we need to reverse roles and play again.
Next year.
All right, Sally, you're justified. Abe said, "Fuck playing against Tynology," though he always won. I didn't think I was ever that good. Portal 2 is a good co-op game, yeah. Oh, you already played that though. You played that with Keezus, right? I haven't played through Portal 2. Okay, so when I remember this was a couple years ago, I was just like not happy, and I felt pretty stagnant with everything, and I remember missing one of the biggest things in my life was gaming for a long time. Even when I wasn't into gaming, I always had gaming in my life. And there were a few years between, I kind of touched on it on some videos where I went kind of through this like dark age of gaming in my life. And it was basically when I, like, other than like after my mom died and playing some Little Big Planet and a few games here and there, I didn't play anything in the pretty much all of the mid 20 teens, whatever it was. Like I played little Big Planets here and there, and then not until what would have been 20. I tried to get back into gaming in like 2017, 2018, 2019, but it wasn't in the books for me. Like it wasn't in the cards for me. And then finally, oh yeah, Abe, I feel you, man. In 2020, I was like, you know what? I need to get back into gaming. I need to get back into gaming. And I didn't know anyone in the gaming community. I didn't really have any friends. I moved across the country. I had no local friends. I didn't really have any online friends. I was kind of floating around. And so I found a like dad's gaming group on Discord, and I joined it, and we started playing Rainbow Six Siege, and it kind of lit that fire under me again. And it was a fun experience. Everyone, like, we all had a good time. We played once a week, and it was just like, I was like, and that reignited me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a gaming YouTube channel. Granted, I haven't put out a video in like 3 months. Getting back into it. That's another story. But I started the gaming YouTube channel, and I got super invested into it, and I started the Discord and everything, and all of that. It was that, like, I need to get back to what I love. And I remember weirdly it was Rainbow Six Siege, just because that was the game that the group played mostly. And then and so I was playing that weekly for a long time, and then as we started the podcast and everything, and it grew, and I met all you guys, and and it's funny because I consider interrupted by the doggy.
Aww.
Continue. So
Koopke's still up. I didn't even notice he's up there. Yeah. And so so getting all into that, and then meeting all of you amazing people. I consider you guys like literally my best friends. Since like talking with everyone on check Twitch chat. Oh, Toast, were you talking? What were you?
You already got it. It was Abe.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I just saw DMs come through. But yeah, not to ramble. Meeting all you guys has been one of the biggest life-changing experiences, and getting back into gaming and my love for gaming and everything. And then the games that we played, like, it's funny because it was like a year and a half ago. It was a few months after I started the YouTube channel, started the Discord, and we're all playing like Monster Hunter Rise. Aaron introducing half of us all together, because Aaron knows everyone. I wish he was on this episode, but I know he's on vacation. I feel like he would have some good stories. But then all these memories, and then I have to once again have to give a shout out to Halo. Allie, you and I started playing Halo, and the rest is history. But
Halo bringing couples together.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a chain, like a crazy chain of events to where we are now and where I am now personally. And I feel like I went from in the middle of 2020. I literally I would say that I had hey Aaron.
Summoned.
Wow, that felt like that was magic. I feel like middle of 2020, I felt like I was in a place where I was unhappy. I was just not in a good spot, and I decided to change everything, and it was all centered on video games. To now, I feel like I have this more friends, and I've more amazing friends than I've ever had. I have a amazing girlfriend. I everything has just now come full circle, and I can't believe how it has transpired, and I can't help but just attribute it to games and the gaming community and you guys and Aaron and but yeah, I feel like I've had the most amazing time with games over the last 2 years with you guys than in my entire life. Sorry, Abe. I loved Mario Party and Double Dash with you. But yeah, and that's it. I'm not going into any more detail.
That's amazing. Everything that you just said, it's so heartwarming, and it makes me really happy that you think that about all of us, about everyone, because like I mentioned earlier, like with middle school and just in general with the past, I've always struggled a lot with keep with connecting and finding people that like-minded with video games and stuff. And I think it's because of that past that I get attached very easily. I get attached very easily. I love being here. I love talking to all of you. I consider you all really good friends. I always love talking to you all, and this is such a emotional podcast episode.
Yeah.
Podcast episode because of everything we've been talking about, and it just makes me really happy to always hear that from you guys, especially since of how fast I get attached to people.
No, it's a pleasure having you. I love doing this because I mean we started this because we would just hop on and we just start talking about games, and we're like, oh, we just really like talking about games, and it's something that we're like, oh, well, let's just do it for real, and
as gamers, a lot of us are, a good chunk of us are so introverted, and so many of us have trouble making friends, especially when you enter adulthood and you have a family. You disconnect from people you were once close with, and it's so hard to make friends. And just making friends online through playing games has been amazing, because it's such a beautiful connection to make. And we were so far apart, all of us. I'm in another country.
Yeah.
And we're all connected.
Yeah. It's
video games.
I mean, it's crazy that how many people that I've met in real life, and then I mean, let alone Sally and my situation, how that transpired, and everything. It's just so wild and so amazing. And I think back like how it all started, and I was like, it was like the little like the little seed was like, I miss gaming, I miss video games, and actually it was I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy, and I'm not happy with where I am. I'm not happy in the life I'm living. I'm not happy in my marriage. We need to like, and so that started. I was like, I'm gonna escape to video games, and I'm going to, and that just pushed everything and started moving. Just started the snowball effect that now we're here and we have this amazing group of people, and I consider you guys my best friends. I've met most of you in real life. Like Itachi, we need to meet up.
Yeah, definitely.
I've met everyone. I've met everyone else. Yeah, I know.
You come to Cali. I'm just driving. I'm in SoCal.
Oh, you're in SoCal?
I'm in SoCal. Brittany's NorCal, so it'll be a bit of a drive, but
Sal and I are planning a trip to at least SoCal, maybe NorCal.
Okay.
You gotta come say hi to me and Nettie. And Liz.
I know.
Come next year though. Keezus will be here too.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Let me know whenever you're in SoCal, and we'll do something.
We were thinking December. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, this December?
Okay.
Yeah. It's both our birthdays.
Oh.
When? Oh, we can talk about
early December.
Okay, I'll be home. Early December. Late December, I'm gonna be gone. But
okay. Yeah, it's not set in stone, but we started looking.
Okay.
But yeah, we got to figure it out. Okay. We could go on forever. It's 10:30. Let's go. Let's wrap it. Thank you all. I love you all. You guys are awesome. Abe, thanks for stopping by. We need to catch up. Message me. I'm scared to have you on because you're going to tell all my college secrets.
Tynology, or like Tynology tea.
Yeah. I don't remember. I fixed something. It was like no one could figure out how to get something to work, and I was like, oh, and I just walked up and like fixed it, and he's like, Tynology, and and then the rest is history.
Nice.
All right. Thank you all. Let's rate out who's on right now. If you're live, oh man, everyone's on. Keys is on.
Yes.
Should we rate out to Keys?
He's back on that Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, I tried with Pokemon. I really wanted. I
got really into it for a week, and then I was like, all right.
I
couldn't get into it.
I love the ideas of MOBAs, like the concept of MOBAs, and then I start playing one. I'm like, fuck.
No. I've never been able to get into MOBA.
I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
The most into a MOBA I got was Heroes of the Storm, because if you played it, you got stuff for Overwatch and stuff for Hearthstone.
Oh yeah. I played the League for a week.
Yeah, I tried Dota.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I kept dying. And then I played Pokemon Unite, and I was like, hey, all right, I understand the concept of this. I looked it all up. I was like, okay, I figured out you had to dunk, and I know Pokemon. And I'm like, and then I started playing. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then I was done. I was like, nope, I'm not good at these games. Sally, did you pick Pokemon Unite for our games we suck at?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you killed Toast and I.
Apparently, I don't know.
games I was like, this should have been one of our games, not your game. Okay. Let's go.
Oh, he's yawning.
This is the most she's like ever sat on me. She usually comes over and wants me to give her food and then leaves. Like she's never sat with me this long before ever. Kind of crazy, actually.
You guys need to show Kuki and her each other and see what they do.
Yeah.
See if they'll look at each other.
Pokey. Yeah, he's sleeping.
Cookie's like, no way.
I'm surprised she is not sleeping. What are you still awake for?
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta go. I have to finish packing. I have to.
Oh, I gotta pack too.
I'm leaving
on the flight tomorrow.
Tomorrow? You're going on a flight tomorrow?
I have a flight tomorrow.
Oh boy.
So,
what time are you leaving?
I'm leaving at night, but I have work tomorrow, so,
okay,
so I don't have much time to pack tomorrow.
I promised Sally I would be on the road by 7:30, and I still have to pack, and I have to drop off my boys at school at summer camp, so that'll be fun. All right, thank you all. I love you all. Stay tuned. If you don't follow Sally, we'll be live next week at some point to play something. I don't know. What are we gonna play?
Play something.
We'll play something, and I'll feed you chocolates. American chocolates.
Win-win for me.
Sounds like a party.
A retro arcade party.
Hey,
let's go.
Oh, we gotta play a retro arcade game.
We gotta play pinball.
Yeah, we're gonna play pinball. That's what we're gonna play pinball. Multiverses? Nah. All right, let's. What is Multiverses?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's the DC or the Warner Brothers Smash Brothers game.
Oh.
So it has like Batman and Superman and
Cartoon Network characters.
Cartoon Network and LeBron James
and Iron Giant.
Yeah.
And a bunch of like characters.
Bugs
Stranger
Bunny.
Things.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I think Rick and Morty are making it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're rating out. Actually, we're not rating out until I end the episode. All right. Love y'all. Bye. Have a good night. Thank you for the episode. Well, no episode next week. I'm going to be in Montreal with Sally. And then 2 weeks, we'll be back for another episode. Bye.
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 Laters.
Yeah.